Victor Wooten, how you doing, man?
Great. Happy to be here.
We have been following you and your music and your career, and you've done an awful lot of stuff. So bring us up to date. What's happening right now? What's keeping you busy these days?
Well, I'm just fortunate and blessed and lucky to be busy in this ever-changing music business. But as we're speaking today, we're both here at the International Society of Bassists Convention in Rochester, the ISB. So a lot of double bass players here, and I'm trying to join the club. This is kind of fun. I'm a newcomer. But I just got back from Brazil, where I played a great jazz festival over there with my own band. Taking a little hiatus from Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. We're all doing separate things for the next few years, up to 3-4 years. Bela just had a new addition in his life. He's newly married, so he's got some changes going on, which is good for him. Have a couple new records out. A vocal record called Words and Tones featuring female vocalists. An instrumental record titled Sword and Stone, both released on my own record label, VIX, V-I-X Records. 4 wonderful kids, beautiful wife, so life is good and keeping me busy.
Now, you're still active with your summer camps, right?
Yeah, but they're not summer. You say the word camp and people think summer and kids. But this is a camp that runs spring till fall, and it's all ages, any instrument. But yes, we do them in the summer, but we usually start around March, and we finish around October or November. Well, so you can go to victorwooten.com and click on camps, and you can find out all about it.
Okay. Who are you? Now, you generally have some bass luminaries or some artists in residence, guest artists, or people like that.
Yeah.
Who can we look for this year?
Well, at the camps, there's always people that are surprise guests, and we'll keep them as surprises. But in past, we've had Stanley Clarke, Marcus Miller, Christian McBride, Esperanza Spalding, Dennis Chambers, Omar Hakim, and Rachel Z, Mike Stern, Bob Franceschini, John Patitucci, Matt Garrison, Jeff Berlin. We've had a lot of great surprise guests, and we have a lot more lined up for these next coming up camps. But the people that are usually there all the time, my good friends Steve Bailey, Anthony Wellington, Dave Welch, Chuck Rainey, Bob Franceschini usually comes in and teaches the horn players, and great drummers J.D. Blair, Dorico Watson, as well as all my brothers. They're usually there at most all of the camps.
Okay, give us just a general overview of what people can expect to get out of attending one of these camps. They're generally, what, a week long?
Yeah, they're generally about 6 days, even though in the summer we do a 3-week camp for bassists and guitarists. But our camp is a little bit different, the way we run them. You have 4 classes. The students are broken up into 4 smaller groups usually, and you have 4 classes a day in those small groups, and then you have at least one whole group with all 60 or so of the students together, at least one of those classes. But there's also, as well as the musical teachers, you have a nature staff. Because you have to realize that music is like a language. Music should come from the inside. A lot of us take the slow route and learn music from the outside in. But when you think about a language that you learn to speak, you learn it from the inside out, meaning you have something to say and then you figure out how to say it, rather than learning a bunch of stuff that you don't know what it means first and trying to put it to use later. In English, you don't learn the rules before you learn to talk, and in music we try to do it backwards and teach you a bunch of scales and rudiments before you know what to say with them. So music for me should be learned in a natural process, the way we learn to speak. And so the word natural means being like nature. So we have a nature staff there that deals with who you are, helps you develop other senses better, you hear better, you see better, and things like that. So the thing about the nature staff, it also gets you away from the instrument for a while. Like even learning to talk, you don't just sit around and play with your mouth all day. You have to have experiences. And when you have experiences, then you have something to say. You have something to talk about. And so talking becomes easier because you have an urge to say something. So we approach music the same way. And so we get you out of that musical classroom, out in nature as our classroom and nature as our teacher, and you have different experiences. And when you bring them back to your instrument, you'll be surprised at how that instrument opens up and not only speaks back to you, but helps you speak clearer. It's hard to explain. You just have to experience it. That's why, even putting it on the website is kind of difficult, because you have to experience it. But I'll say this: the same way you learn to speak so easily, by 2 or 3 you are fluent, music can happen in the same short amount of time.
That is a great approach and a great philosophy, and obviously it's working for you.
It's working.
Tell us what you have coming up. I know you're going to be busy with this, that, and the other.
Sure.
Where are you going? Who are you playing with? What's coming up?
Exactly. Well, I just finished a year of touring with a 7-piece band of my own, 2 drummers, 4 bass players, and a great singer. But the 4 bassists, we didn't play bass at the same time, but maybe on a couple of songs. We all agreed to play many different instruments. So we had some of us playing horns, cellos, and double bass, keyboards, and guitar. And so it was a lot of fun switching around like that. We just finished that in Brazil just a couple of days ago. And here at the ISB, I'll have a couple of workshops and a performance on Saturday. Then I'll go to Berkeley and do a thing that I'm doing with Berkeley, a joint camp for a weekend, the Victor Wooten Berkeley Bass Camp over the weekend, coming up next weekend. Then I'll get back home, have a rehearsal with Mike Stern, and then go to Europe with him after I do our junior camp, which is our kids camp, June 19th through the 24th. Right after that, I'll head to Europe for 3 weeks to do a co-bill with Mike Stern, where we'll play some of his music and some of my music. And then I'll get back, and I don't remember what's happening as soon as I get back.
I don't know how you can remember everything you just said.
Hopefully I get to spend some family time.
Yeah, well, that'll be good. Well, Victor Wooten, always great to see you, always great catching up, and
thank you, John.
Much luck and continued success to you always.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for speaking with me again.
Yo, Victor!